Fernandez is going to introduce the next application.
The next item on the agenda is item number 14, DRB 210756, 415 East Rivo Alto Drive. An application has been filed requesting design review approval for the construction of a new two-story residence to replace an existing pre-1942 architecturally significant residence. The applicant is proposing a new two-story residence on Delito Island on a waterfront vacant lot that once housed an existing pre-1942 architecturally significant residence. The architect has conceived a modern two-story residence that is dynamic in design and well within its zoning thresholds, and as such, staff recommends its approval of the design. I believe the design team is here to present the application.
Hello, board. Thank you very much for your time. My name is David Solomon.
Mr. Solomon, before we start, I just have a couple of housekeeping matters. We first have to address any ex parte communications, and then I would have to swear in the witnesses.
I don't see one, okay? No.
Okay, so we're good on the ex parte communications, and all those who are testifying, please raise your right hand. Do you swear under oath that any and all testimony that you give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I am the owner of 415 East Rivo Alto on the Venetian Islands. We just purchased and closed on this vacant lot on December 14th, 2021, with the intention to submit drawings to the building department and break ground immediately. We had no idea that we would have to go in front of design review because it was a vacant lot. I just want to say I'm so honored and humbled to work with an architect like Carlos Touzet. I've known him for several years, and for him to be involved in this project just means the world to me. So I just want to say that on the record. I'm here in the abundance of caution and to show respect to the City of Miami Beach and the Design Review Board, and to honor its protocols. To be clear, we're not here to ask for any waivers or variances today. We're also not here to ask permission to demolish an existing home that was built pre-1942. For your reference, the previous owner who I purchased it from had received an unsafe structures violation back in 2014 and demolished the existing home back in 2015 and passed final demo inspection with the building department. I am here in front of you, and I was asked to come in front of you to seek approval to build our design on this vacant lot. I took it upon myself to also reach out to a few of the neighbors, and we do have 5 letters of support, which you'll see in the presentation. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration, and if you have any questions, we're here, and Carlos is here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. That was very nice. It's great to actually be here in person after quite a while. I would like to take you through the drawings really quickly. It's a relatively straightforward home. Could I have the first slides, please? Next. This is an east-west lot. It's relatively narrow. It's a 60-foot lot. And running east-west, it has a good view across Biscayne Bay. Next slide. As David mentioned, these are some of the neighbors that he gave the letters to. He's gone back letters of approval on all the green ones, and the red ones just have now responded. And he will put them into the record if that's required. Next slide, please. Next. One of the outstanding features of the lot is really this great specimen ficus tree, which is incredibly tall and exists maybe 1/4 into the property to the north, and the rest of the root system is on this property. It was important for us to not only maintain the tree, but to take advantage of it as a feature in the design. Next slide. Next slide. The house is oriented along an east-west axis. The circulation on the north side of this stone wall that really acts as a plane that marks the circulation. On the north side of it is the public aspect of that circulation. On the south side is a private component of the circulation. One back, please. There, thanks. Towards the front of the property on the west side are all the back house spaces, which are kept hidden behind the stone wall. As you cross the elevated walk, which is 2 feet above flood, 2 feet freeboard, we then get to the more public portion of the house, which is mostly glass to the ceiling. And it was important to be able to create a deck and open space and glass fronting the ficus. All of the structure on that northwest corner is actually cantilevered back so that we are not impinging on the root system. We are definitely within the drip line, but the intention was to try to stay away as much as possible from the tree. Next slide. On the second floor, there is a small component on the western portion, on the back of house portion of the property, and then most of the program exists in the square, mostly square, volume of the second floor that fronts on the water. Each one of the corners of that second floor houses a bedroom, and then most of the internal spaces and the working spaces occur within the cruciform interior space. Next. Next. Let's go, if you could go to sheet 15, please. This is the north elevation, and you can see how the limestone wall, which is probably a St. Croix, which is a limestone that has a little bit of fossil to it. And even though it's a subtle background color of the limestone, having a little bit of fossil and some movement gives it some interest, especially because we're laying it in a coursed random ashlar. You take some steps up from the west as you enter the house. It's elevated. There's a water feature right at the entry. A folded plate starts to allude to what occurs inside of the house. The ceiling of the main public portion of the house is actually a folded roof. The intention was that because we have a limited footprint and we wanted to have most of the program on the second floor, that allows more daylight to come in because there's reflected light both from the water of the pool system and also just from the grass that'll be able to bounce off the wood ceiling and then bring light deep into the public space. Next slide. One back. In the section, this is right at the point of the walkway, the open air walkway on the right. You can see how the ceiling is shaped. One more slide, please. And here, this is on the other side of that, of the stone kind of datum wall. You can see the stairs that goes up to the main living floor. There's a clear story at the end of that stair so that it brings daylight in during the day and illuminates the stair internally. And the ceiling of the bedroom, which exists right beyond, is also a folded plate. Next. This is south elevation. On the west side, actually, the louvered elements are places where we have back-of-house service generators. All of the material is hidden, elevated and hidden behind those panels. Next. And if we could keep going through these, and I'd like to show you the 3D. Here, this is a view from the street. Next slide. Once we remove the front wall, you can see how the wall terminates really in a stone volume, and how as you enter on access, you have the steps that then take you on to the glass wall that then leads you all the way out to the water across that kind of glass cube. Next slide. This is a partial sectional perspective right beyond the northernmost wall of the living room, and it gives you an idea of how the ceiling elements work. The folded plate that doesn't actually touch the main house. It's really, there's a tongue of ceiling that extends beyond the front door and kind of hints at a touch to the folded plate. Next. Another view, this would be if we could x-ray right through the ficus trunk. Next view. And then this is a view from the water where you can see the folded plate of the ceiling of the master bedroom extends beyond the kind of cubic volume. There are bay windows in 2 of the bedrooms that just create interest and actually create a little bit more space within the volume. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to speak, please come forward or raise your hand online.
Mr. Chairman, there's nobody online with their hand raised.
Okay, I see no one in the audience. I'm going to close the public portion and turn it over to the board for comment.
Just a really quick question for Michael. I know in the application, on the report, it does say there's an existing pre-1942 home. There's photos of the home. Can you just give me a little bit of...
Like was stated, even though it was demolished appropriately with an emergency demolition order, because there was a pre-42 home on the site, it does require the applicant to come before the board for the design of the new home.
Got it. No, I think it's a beautiful home. I'm fully supportive.
Alex, what do you think?
I think it's very elegant, and I think the plan sits lightly on the site, which is unusual, actually unheard of in this context, so I think it's very good.
I like the design of the house very much. A couple of issues is there a front wall at the sidewalk?
Yes, there is. And actually, I had meant to mention that I have the landscape architects, Exoticscape and Associates, Mercedes and Roberto here, and Gabby Feta from my office. There is, and actually, if we go back, I had shown the slide, but then I jumped right to the next one. There's a wall. The wall is set back 1 foot so we could get planting in front of the wall.
Okay, because we are missing the triangle on the property line. And
Site triangle.
the wall you need 2 triangles,
Right, yes.
right? So we're missing in the plan the triangle at the property line where the walls cannot go.
Okay, we can
You're
extend.
going to have to review that.
Right, we would do that. We would pull back the opening and create just a larger fence.
And in the back, in the front, could you explain the water feature?
Yes,
Because it looks like an infinity, but it doesn't have a trough. So
and I'm so glad you asked. It's very much the way that the Barragan fountain in the convent works like. And the way that it works is there's a basin with the sharp edges. That's brought down to a drain that goes around the base of it. And the idea would be that you would have a metal edge coming over the side of the drain. As the water comes out the side, it actually drains, and you still have, in this case, there would be some grass and planting around it. So you actually don't see a trough. The trough is hidden.
it's hidden below
I'm sorry? Below ground,
ground.
yes.
Okay.
And that only occurs, honestly, on 3 sides.
three
because,
sides,
Right,
yeah.
the other side is hidden underneath the bridge.
Okay. I do have an issue with the large tree. You're practically removing half of the critical root zone.
So if we could go to the plan, I'll show you. We actually have cantilevered that whole portion of the house, and we'll show you in the section you can see we stepped it back as much as possible. We're still, the drip edge is probably 30 feet, maybe a little less.
Have you tried contacting,
An arborist, yes. We
talk to an arborist or to the city forester? Or
no, not the city forester yet. We did have an arborist come in earlier.
do you have an arborist report?
We don't, but we can make one available once we have an arborist look
I
at it.
think that's important because you're practically, even if you're cantilevering how much?
If we go to the plan, I can show you. I believe it's, the tree itself is about 6 feet from the setback, and then the edge of the house is about 13 feet further on. And you can see it in the plan. If you could go back 2 slides, please. One more. Actually, let's go one more. There. You can see where the main structure goes all the way back. The corridor, as you move from the west to the east, where the wall starts to become vertical towards the front of the tree. That's where that structure is. And then there's a structure diagonally where that solid wall is. There point supports within that wall. The wall is not a retaining wall. It only goes up to 6 feet.
But I think we need a guarantee from an arborist.
I would suggest that I do think you can add a condition requiring that an arborist report be submitted to be reviewed by the city's urban forester and planning department to ensure that the structure proposed is not going to be detrimental to the long-term survivability of the tree.
Not only that it will not weaken the root system so that it will topple with a
I mean, we can make that a requirement, and if it results in something that the arborist or the urban forester believes requires a modification, then at that point it could require them to come back to the board if they have to if they don't want to modify the plan to keep the tree. So I think we could agree to keep that condition in, and provided that the arborist has substantiated that it's not going to result in destabilizing the tree, and that the architecture proposed and the structural foundation is not going to impact the tree. I think as long as we could substantiate that, we could approve that with a condition. And if the arborist report or urban forester is not comfortable with that, it could require you come back to the board for modification.
and that would be with the critical root zone.
Yeah.
But there's also I saw an image, one of the image where you show an elevation and the tree. You can see the tree.
No, the tree is actually. We can go back to the renderings.
We can go back to the images.
Yeah.
And we'll go to.
It's towards the end. It's, I think, A35 or something like that. You
We
could
can
go
see
forward.
the tree from the side.
There. We can
No,
go back.
that's a rendering.
Yeah, that's a rendering.
No, there was a photo.
Oh, okay. Can you go back to the first three pictures, the third slide, fourth slide maybe, from the front, please. One more.
Okay, you see? How much of the canopy will have to be removed?
Very little of it, just trimming it, because we are about 8.5 feet away from the property line at that point.
Okay, I would like that to be part of the arborist report.
To ensure that
That's
it's not,
the maximum canopy that can be removed.
the question is, ask the arborist to determine what is the maximum canopy that should be removed.
Right.
And I want to say I do think it's an elegant design. I like the structure of the plan, and I would like to have someone make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, just before, I do see someone now with their hand raised. Would you like them the opportunity to speak?
Not really, but do you think it'd be appropriate to?
Yeah, it's
open
only
up the
one
public
person.
portion?
Let's, Jeffrey Krasnoff, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Krasnoff, before you testify, I need you to swear you in. Do you swear under oath that any and all testimony that you give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. But yeah, I'll make this very quick. I'm the property owner directly to the north, 423 East Rivo. I've looked at the plans and the design, and we would be extremely excited to see this home get built. I think it's been, in terms of living next door to it, I think that this would be something we would be very, very much in favor of. And I just wanted to point that out to the board.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
That's it.
I make a motion to approve this.
I second.